Okay, was that a yes?
I'm ready.
Okay. All right, everybody. Welcome. I cannot believe it. It is April 24th already. This year is going by so fast. Do you guys feel like you just blink your eyes and it's another whole month that has passed by? I do not understand why time keeps marching on so fast. It's crazy. Welcome you to our Continuum of Care meeting. We're going to go ahead and get started. You all hopefully are clicking the link so that we can do roll call to have a quorum. And while you were doing that, Gershom, if you can just let me know when we reach quorum. Are we there yet?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay. Well, we'll go ahead, and while we're at, everybody try to, for those of you that are voting members, please click the link in the chat. You'll have to scroll clear to the top because Gershom posted it in exactly 3 p.m. So if you scroll up at the top, you'll see the link to be able to sign in for roll call. Okay. And while you're doing that, I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome 2 new voting members and then also new members. So do we have Equus Works and Healthcare in Action in the house today, our 2 new voting members? Is anybody here representing those organizations? If so,
I'm with Equus Works is actually Equitable Social Solutions as well. So yes, we're in the house. Woohoo!
You want to tell us a little bit about what you do so everybody knows?
No worries. So we're actually the sister company of Equus Works, and we're Equitable Social Solutions, and we have been given the privilege of working with Arte as well as the general population to provide rapid housing under the HHAP grant. So we're definitely happy and welcome any referrals you have in District 2 and in District 4. District 4 more so for Arte, and District 2 for our general population.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome. We're so excited that you are a new voting member. How about Healthcare in Action? Anybody in the house from Healthcare in Action? Okay, I'm just going to go down the list to welcome new members that are participating in the Continuum of Care. We have All Persons Housed. We are One United. Looks like we have RUHS Community Health Centers, Creating Conversations, Kindful Restoration, Can't, hashtag Can't, Road to Redemption, Moreno Valley Black Chamber of Commerce, and Anchored Life Recovery Services. Wow, I'm like so excited. This is a banner month for a lot of new organizations. Are there any of you that are new to participating that I just read? Are there any of you here in the house? If there are, please say hello and make yourself known and tell us about yourself and your organization. Anybody?
Hello, my name is Kevin George. I work with the HOPE program with RUHS, and I'm just starting as an administrative services supervisor. So this is my 3rd week, and I'm just starting to get acclimated to the program, and I'm happy to be here today.
Awesome, welcome. And tell me again who that was that just spoke.
My name is Kevin George, and I work with the HOPE program.
Great, Kevin, thank you so much. Welcome. I see Ernesto, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I'm here with Kindful Restoration, and what we do is we do in-prison programming. We do correspondence and in group, and we're in the process of starting a re-entry outpatient program here in Riverside through the DHCS. So we're in the process of that right now. So as soon as we're up and going, everyone will know. But right now, it's our in-prison program.
Well, I want to welcome you. Were you at the regional reentry conference that we just had?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm here the Continuum. I have to tell you, I'm super excited about our region's focus on helping those that are system impacted. So welcome. We're super excited about the work that you're going to be doing, and hopefully at some point, as you hit the ground running and you start to implement services, we'd love to have you do a presentation so that we can do more collaboration. I also encourage you to think about joining our reentry working group. We do have a working group of the Policy Advocacy Committee that focuses on reentry. So
okay.
And Ernesto, can we get you to add your email in the chat box for folks that want to reach out to you?
Okay, I'll do that right now.
Perfect. Thank you.
He's like, I'm
Okay,
driving,
well-
but I'll try.
Yeah. No, so we actually switched seats, so now I'm in the passenger side. Yeah.
So Melanie, just say in the chat that you would like to join, and I'll make sure Gershom gets that, and then we'll get you connected to the working group for reentry. We'd love to have you.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
if you don't mind making a note of that, Gershom, that would be great. And then let's see, Karen, you had your hand up?
Yes, good afternoon. Karen Nutt with Reach Out and the Harupa Valley Resource Center in on Limonite.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Love to have you. Okay. I think is there anybody else on the list that would like to say hello and make themselves known before we move on? Ernesto, did you have another question, or is your hand just still up from your first question?
Oh, I think my hand is just still up.
Okay. Gershom, have we reached a quorum?
Not yet. We're 8 away.
We're 8 away. Okay, so we'll come back to agenda item 2 to take action on the minutes since we do not have a quorum at this time. So we'll move on to agenda item 3, which is public comments. At this time, members of the public may make comments about any item that is not on agenda, and you have up to 3 minutes to speak. Gershom, did we receive any written public comments?
No, we did not receive any public comments.
Is there any member of the public or those participating that would like to make a public comment? Okay, some person named Michelle Davis would like to make a public comment.
Just want to thank our city council. Yesterday, they approved our supplemental rental assistance program for seniors over the age of 70 to make sure that they don't lose their housing here in the city of Riverside. So we'll be reaching out to the Riverside County Housing Authority to make sure we're partnering with them on that effort as well. So look forward to moving that forward. And then they also approved a home agreement with Eden Housing for the development of 59 senior affordable housing units, which 49% of those units will have to be pulled from the CES. So looking forward to that. We'll let everybody know when that groundbreaking event occurs. So thank you guys for your support. And I believe IHP has some money in that project too. So I want to thank big shout out for IHP too.
Michelle, or Madam Vice Chair, you guys are killing it. Congratulations. Do you know off the top of your head the portfolio of the number of affordable housing units you guys have developed and have in the pipeline? It's got to be some massive figure.
Right now we have 615 units, but I've got 3 other developers we're talking to right now to bring more units online. And then I think there's 3,100 in the city total currently.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. What a testimony. Thank you so much, Michelle. We appreciate everything.
Well, we'd love to partner with other cities to see you also bring some units online as well.
Awesome. Okay, so let's go ahead. Gershom, I'm going to rely on you to tell me when we reach quorum, okay? So that I can go back to the minutes. What I'm going to do at this time, I know that both Greg and Emma have some time-sensitive other matters that they need to address. So I'm going to move the agenda and allow Emma and Greg to do their reports early. Who would like to go first? I see you, Greg, so we'll throw it to you first. Hi, Greg Rodriguez. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Good afternoon. I'll wait for Gershom to get to the slide. Great, perfect. So I'm just going to give a relatively brief update on some policy initiatives that are running through the legislature right now. Wanted to highlight first Proposition 1 that did pass by a very narrow margin. It's not the perfect bill, but it's definitely a good thing that passed. Does include a $4.6 billion bond measure primarily for capital improvements around housing for behavioral health clients. There is conversations. I'm going to tie this in a little bit with HAP round 6. As of now, the governor has not put, and for those who don't know the acronym, sorry, Housing Homeless Assistance Program, the governor did not put a round 6 in his budget, which is quite concerning. There are a number of advocacy measures going on to include another round, primarily through the budget ask. I'm part of an organization, statewide advocacy organization, Bring California Home, that is leading that effort. We're working in conjunction with CSAC, the California State Association of Counties, as well as the League of Cities, to encourage the legislature to include that in the budget this year. Also, the 13 big city mayors, and I know Riverside's mayor, Patricia Lock-Dawson, was up there yesterday in Sacramento lobbying on behalf of homeless and housing issues, and specifically allocating $1 billion for round 6 on HAP. There is conversation that since Proposition 1 passed, that there's not really a need for HAP round 6. That's not a good comparison to have. The dollars that are within Proposition 1 are targeted to very specific populations,
Right.
unlike where HAP actually targets the dollars to homelessness as a whole. And so to make that comparison, or the justification for not doing HAP round 6, would be severely detrimental to other housing and homeless programs, especially since there were many, many cuts to actual housing dollars in the governor's budget. So just so you know, we are advocating on behalf of that to make sure, hopefully, that that's included in the budget. Wanted to highlight a couple pieces of legislation. Assembly Bill 1657. This is by Assembly Member Wicks. This would place a $10 billion housing bond on the 2024 ballot to fund affordable housing development and services. This is moving through the legislature. We thought it would be a little more difficult about 4 months ago that this would move, but it is moving forward. We'll keep you posted on that. If it does qualify for the ballot on the advocacy efforts, this would be a really, really good bond to pass. To Michelle's point, this would really help, especially regions like ours that tend to not be as favorable on allocations from the state to access some of this dollars for building more affordable units. Assembly Bill 2396, this funds local and regional agencies to create online portals that allow residents to view listings and information. This would be real time. We hear constantly if there is some type of web-based system that allows individuals, especially those holding vouchers, on how to find affordable units. So this one is still in committee as we speak. And then a couple bills that we're not really too keen on. Senate Bill 1011 basically is the criminalization of homelessness, and that did die in committee. And then Assembly Bill 2417 would repeal Housing First policies and related requirements. This bill is being proposed based on a lot of chatter that Housing First doesn't work. That is true if Housing First is done in jurisdictions where you just put people into housing and don't provide the wraparound services. The definition of Housing First is putting people in housing with full wraparound services. So we are not in favor of this bill. This one is in committee. We are under very good impression that that's going to probably die in committee in the next week or two. So those are the main highlights. On the federal level, nothing's really occurring. The Biden administration has proposed some housing, actual housing construction programming, but that will not go anywhere for at least 9 months. Other than that, happy to take any questions. Thanks for moving me up too. I appreciate that, Madam Chair.
No problem. Michelle, I know you wanted Prop 1 on. Did you have any specific things that you had questions about, or?
No, I want to thank RUH Behavioral Health actually did for, I don't know if it was through HWS, you guys had a session on MHSA as well as Prop 1. So I think a link was sent out. So if you didn't receive it, we can see if we can have RUH send that out because it was very extensive. They gave an overview. I know there's more information that will be forthcoming. So I think one of the questions we wanted to hear back later at a later date is what programming might be lost that was funded under MHS, but is no longer going to be funded under Prop 1.
Yeah, and I think the biggest concern there, Michelle, was the early prevention and education around that. especially amongst youth. I will credit, though, RUHS Behavioral Health. They somehow seem to find the dollars and manage their dollars very effectively, unlike a lot of other behavioral health systems across the state. So, but it's still not the ideal allocation because it's no new money, which is really what we need. So, especially in the area of capital construction.
Great dialogue. Does anybody have any other questions or comments? This is really important stuff, Greg. I appreciate you keeping us up to date. And I know you will let us know if there's anything we need to be doing. And if you don't, then we know other things are happening at the higher level between CSAC and the League of Cities, correct?
Yep, correct.
Perfect. Thank you, Greg. We appreciate you.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Okay, Miss Emma, we're moving.
Yes, I am ready to go. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Emma Perez Singh. I'm the manager here at the Continuum of Care. Have quick updates for you today. Wanted to again thank everyone for being here and for being active in the Continuum of Care. If this is your first meeting, please know that in this meeting, we typically share very important information regarding upcoming funding and programs that we have here within the Continuum of Care. So I would encourage you to continue to join every month. Next slide, please. It is my pleasure to introduce one of our newest staff members, Lizzie. Lizzie, I'm not sure if you're on. If you are, feel free to unmute yourself and share a couple of words, but Lizzie is joining our data team. She will be working alongside Ms. Salam Walker, who is our data team lead, in helping to analyze our data and put together reports and dashboards that will be used to help inform the work that we do here at the Continuum of Care. So very excited to have her on board. She is not new to our department. She previously worked at the Housing Authority on their special programs team, and so comes with a wealth of knowledge in regards to homeless programs and the work that we do as a whole. So please join me in welcoming her. I think she's been with us for 2 weeks. So next slide, please. And we wanted to make sure that the community was aware that our HHAP 5 application was submitted to the state on time. And a special thank you to the City of Riverside, Michelle Davis and her team for working so closely with us, and also for all of you who joined the community meetings and provided feedback to the Continuum of Care to make our application submission successful. We did post the system performance measures and the 2 portions of the application on our website. So if you would like to go and reference the application and the content within the application, you can do so by going to the COC website, and it is posted here. You can see on the bottom left-hand corner of the screen under the picture with the keychain, and you can feel free to review it. And we also have other items that are posted on our website. You can feel free to peruse that. We always post things to the same area. So if you're ever, wondering what we're up to, or looking at things that have been posted, that's where you will go. Next slide, please. We are having another homeless symposium. This time we are hosting an inaugural homeless symposium for the 5th district, which the city of Banning has graciously agreed to host. I do want to note that we have had a venue change. This was a recent change. We sent notification out to the COC yesterday. We had to change the venue because we received such an overwhelming response from all of you. We are so excited to have, over 100 people that have registered thus far, and there's still room for another 100. So we are welcoming everyone who would like to join us. It's going to be a great discussion about the work that's being done in 5th District. We will have presentations from all 5th District cities, and it'll be a really great event. We also have a couple individuals that will be sharing their stories. These individuals were from 5th District and were housed in 5th District, and will be sharing their stories about how the continuum of care has touched their lives and helped them become housed and stably housed and connected to workforce. So it'll be a great event, and we hope that you can be there. If you haven't registered yet, there is a registration link that we can put in the chat. I believe Gershom has already posted that in the chat. Please register and join us if you are able to. And I believe that is the end of my my section.
Does anybody have any questions for Emma? Okay, good job, Miss Emma, as always.
Thank
Appreciate all
you.
the hard work for you and your team. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your other meetings and deliverables you have to do today.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's move on to the next agenda item. And the next agenda item is one of my favorite things to do every meeting, and that is the leadership spotlight. Do we have Miss Larissa? Is she on?
I'm here, Karen.
Okay, I thought I saw Marcus. Is Marcus on with us?
I am not sure.
Hi, Karen and Continuum of Care membership. Good afternoon. I'm on.
Yeah, so sorry, Marcus, I didn't mean to do this to you, but I thought because I'm going to say a few words about Larissa, but you might also want to make some introductory comments. I'd love to reach out to important stakeholders and people in our continuum of care system that are doing amazing work. And many of you know Larissa. She was with the city of Riverside doing amazing things to address homelessness and affordable housing, and now is with our UHS Behavioral Health. And she's going to talk about her role. Marcus, did you want to say a few words and introduce Larissa?
Sure, happy to, and I'll be brief. I know nobody came to hear me, but excited to have Dr. Villarreal on the team. It's been only a number of months, but in some ways it has that paradoxical feeling as if it's been about 5 seconds and about 5 years all at once. But she brings extensive experience to her role, and so excited to have her here at Behavioral Health. I think her homeless experience as well as her criminal justice experience are really timely. And then she also, has, I think, a variety of sort of other experience that she'll probably highlight that really rounds out what she has to offer. So just grateful to have her on the team. And I know she's not new to many of you, given her previous role at City of Riverside. But here at Behavioral Health, we're happy to be a partner into the continuum of care. And I think you're in good hands to have her at the helm of our homeless programs. So thanks for the opportunity, Karen, and thanks, Dr. Villarreal.
Thank you, Marcus. Okay, Larissa, the floor is yours, my dear. So happy to have you.
Thank you so much, Karen. I'm happy to be here. Thank you to the Continuum of Care for inviting me today. And Marcus, thank you so much. Marcus is the Deputy Director who I am lucky enough to talk to and receive mentorship from. And I think that I am in really good hands here and with him, and just really appreciative of this partnership. So thank you for that. So good afternoon, everyone. Again, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to present to you today. When Karen asked me to be here this afternoon with you, she said I could speak from the heart or I could share a slideshow presentation. And I kind of want to do both, if that's all right with you. I'd like to start by sharing a little bit about who I am and why I have a passion for this work. So in my 20s, I fled an abusive situation and ended up in a shared living environment. And when I fled, my shared bank account was drained, and shortly thereafter, I was laid off from my job. So I found myself with no money, with 2 young children to care for, and I was at imminent risk of falling into homelessness. And that certainly would have been my future if I didn't have a strong social capital. So through my parents' encouragement and support, I returned to my childhood home. And I'll always remember my dad saying, "Mija, you could come home under one condition. pursue your education. Now, I'm sure you would have let me come home either way, but I'll never forget that moment. And that marked the beginning of my journey into purpose-driven work. And from there, I pursued my master's in public administration, and then about 8 years later, my doctorate in social work. And I've worked in public service now in a professional and volunteer capacity for almost 20 years. I've always focused my attention in social services, and I've led efforts in education, reentry, workforce development, and housing and homelessness. And about 6.5 months ago, I embraced a new challenge as the administrator for our UHS Behavioral Health HOPE program. You can advance to the next slide. Now, Marcus is probably going to kill me, but this is a very oversimplified organizational chart. We actually have 7 full pages of staff, but I wanted to give you just a really quick visual. You'll see that under the leadership of Deputy Director of Forensics, Marcus Cannon, I manage overall housing and operations for HOPE. And on the other side of that chart is my colleague, Monique Rodriguez-Torres, who heads the CES and Home Connect that I'm sure most of you are familiar with. And when our team is at full capacity, we'll have approximately 200 individuals staffed throughout the county of Riverside. And so what you'll see here is a smaller amount of individuals on Monique's side, but her team is growing by 22 individuals coming soon. So just wanted to give you a quick snapshot of what that looks like for the HOPE program. We together oversee several grants totaling approximately $15 million. So you can go ahead and advance to the next slide. Again, this is very oversimplified, but just wanted to give you a snapshot rather of some of the program services that we offer. So our team at HOPE leads various programs offering essential services to those experiencing homelessness or at imminent risk of homelessness, including housing, partnership, and educational opportunities, and that's our acronym HOPE. As most of you are probably familiar, and I mentioned earlier, we serve as the coordinated entry system lead. And as the CS lead, we manage the community queue to make referrals for the people that you serve. So we're connecting folks with affordable housing and housing assistance projects. Our street outreach and in-reach teams work closely with consumers to offer linkages to supportive services, keeping the individual's autonomy in mind. So our team, we use motivational interviewing and harm reduction techniques along with other best practices. And this is intentionally to help folks to create milestone goals. And we just want to make sure that this is a collaborative effort between the outreach worker, case manager, and the consumer. We offer our permanent supportive housing through MESA, which is Mental Health Services Act, and NPLH, which is our No Place Like Home sites, and emergency housing and rental assistance. So that, again, is just a quick snapshot. And you'll also see here that we're a partner in the RIVCO 100. We also have vendors that support folks that are being released from institutional sites. So we have our AB 109. We also have our enhanced care management and community supports, and we're partners in the Santa Ana River Bottom and our recently added San Jacinto River Bottom activities, and really excited about those. And also you'll see here life support, which offers funding for individuals that require a higher level of care. So that's your boarding care, intermediate care, and skilled nursing facilities. So you can go ahead and advance to the next slide. And this is a snapshot that I pulled from our Behavioral Health and Housing Committee. We have a staff member who generates this report. It's Randy Arumbala, and this is just a snapshot of all of the units that Hope is overseeing in our permanent supportive housing. And so you'll see here that there's approximately 370 individuals that are served in 325 units, and the utilization across the board is approximately 100%. So we're really happy about what this looks like, and even more thrilled about our staff, Sasha Trejos, who leads staff at all of these sites, and she does a wonderful job. She's a supervisor with us, and she makes sure that all of the individuals that staff touch there at the apartments are supported in wraparound services. You can go ahead and move on to the next slide. Okay, so this is showing us that in less than a decade, Hope has seen a 308% increase in consumers served. So this phenomenal growth underscores the effectiveness and the necessity of our services, right? So I'm really excited for our forward trajectory and am honored to support and lead the team in innovative ways and as change makers. Next slide, please. These are just some fun shots that I wanted to highlight here, and just share out some of the most important work for me is that of walking alongside the individuals that we serve, right? And really hearing from staff and what barriers they're facing. And so I created anonymous survey tools that allow me to identify different items that we need to focus on here. And based on the feedback that I've received, I've implemented monthly staff meetings with internal and external agency presentations. And these presentations, they really strengthen staff knowledge and confidence and add additional tools and resources and networking opportunities. I saw Melanie on, and she agreed to come next month. So hi, Melanie, thank you for agreeing to present to us. And with, again, giving a shout out to Sasha Trejos, we have implemented substance use disorder counselors across sites. And so these groups are taking place bi-weekly for all of the individuals that are taking part in our permanent supportive housing sites. So just another layer of support that's being added there. And this is something that was brought on through Marcus Cannon. So we started these groups last week, and they're going to be ongoing bi-weekly. We were able to collaborate with DPSS, and we have an MOU now, so we are able to share data and have our mini MDT meetings, and this really allows us to better serve our target population. And I had the opportunity to present here in November, and this is for Room Board Coalition. I spoke at our Longest Night event, and that's one of the pictures that you see on the right-hand side there. And this was for our desert event. So that was a really amazing experience. And I was a panelist at the reentry conference that Karen mentioned earlier. So that was also a really great opportunity. So I'm thankful for that. And I've also developed a scoring matrix for our prioritization committee to ensure equity in the decision making. So I think that's really going to be helpful. And finally, I am restarting quarterly vendor meetings. So we work with over 160 vendors across the county, and it's really important that we're updating them with pertinent information and that we're hearing from them and that there's just transparency across the board. So those are going to start up again in May. So these steps are vital for enhancing our outreach and effectiveness. And on the next slide, I'll share a collaborative effort between myself and Hope's veteran outreach team. So this here is a decision tree. I met with our veterans outreach team, and we sat down and we identified from start to finish what it looks like when we're serving this special population. So you'll see this numbered 1 through 8, and it starts with that Home Connect call and pre-screening, and it walks you through the process all the way to housing. And it also includes all of the critical documents that are needed to serve this special population. And so This is just something I think that is helpful for new staff. So when they come on board, they understand what that looks like. And then also for our seasoned staff, so that they're aware of what that process is. And if they're ever in a bind, they can quickly just look at this and they'll feel confident in their knowledge to move forward or to refer them on. And so I had the opportunity to sit down with a couple of our teams and have created the Veterans Decision Tree, the AB 109 Decision Tree, and then Outreach Tree as well. So just excited about these opportunities to collaborate with staff and really the experts and the boots on the ground to create items like this. Next slide, please. So as I continue in this role and learn and teach, it's my goal to continue expanding and refining our services. And that's with input from you, our target population, and Hope staff as well. And each step we take toward together is really toward a better community. So excited about those opportunities. And this is really a testament to what we can achieve together. So thank you for your time. I appreciate being asked to come and speak today, and I'm available for questions. Thank you.
So before I open it up, Larissa, it's just beautiful to see you thriving and all of the stuff that's happening in behavioral health. I'm super excited to hear about it. And I think that one slide that you showed, the exponential increase in all of the resources is staggering. That is a lot. But when we think about all of those resources, I'm hoping you could just be very candid with us and to tell us, even with all of those resources, just from what you've learned so far being with behavioral health, if you're comfortable with us, to tell us what the biggest challenges that you see are. And you have an open audience here to tell us how we can help.
Yeah, thank you for that question, Karen. I think that across the board, and as many of you know, the biggest challenge that we face is the housing crisis. So having the ability to tag in new landlords or get innovative in the way that we're seeking shelter and affordable apartments for folks is really essential to the success of our county and to behavioral health Hope and all of you as well. So I think really that's the biggest challenge that we face.
So I'm going to open up the floor. Do you guys have questions of Larissa? All kinds of resources. Linda Krupa, nice to have you, my dear. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Could you go back to one slide to the basically the flow chart of how you do that? Okay. My question is from, I guess from number 2 on, if the answer is yes, 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 all the way to the bottom, what is the approximate length of time that would take, or the average length of time that actually takes?
That's a really great question. Thank you for asking. I think it's really dependent on the individual and how quickly we could get critical documents and how quickly there is an affordable unit available. So if somebody comes to us and they have all of their critical documents already in hand, then that process will move along a lot more quickly than someone who doesn't have their birth certificate, their ID, or their veteran status. So there is a document that they obtain, and I think it is their DD, it's right here under documentation required, DD 214 military discharge. So having all of this documentation will really move that process along. And again, it's really dependent on the unique individual. So we've seen some cases where it takes a month, and we've seen others where it takes 5 to 6 months. So again, it's dependent on the unique individual.
Okay, to follow up on that, to get a DD 214, I know it can, yeah, bigger government is always slower than smaller government, but what resources do you use or to tell them to go to? Because I know there's a few specialized veterans here in the Valley that really know how to get around the federal government and the VA system to expedite issues like that. So do you use a particular entity, or are these veterans on their own for going to find their DD 214?
Not at all. So we have a veterans outreach team and they walk alongside the individual and transport them to Loma Linda and any other appointment that they might have to support them in obtaining these critical documents. So they are also individuals who have served, so they have that knowledge and how to navigate the system. And they also have contacts at Loma Linda as well.
Thank you. That is what I absolutely wanted to hear. So good job. Appreciate what you are doing, and hopefully we can somehow speed up the number of units to get more of our veterans off the streets. Thank you so much.
Other questions? Comments? Well, if you haven't interacted with behavioral, did you have something, Marcus?
I just wanted to say one more thing to Council Member Krupa's question. Your point about government, I agree. Nothing moves as fast as we would like, but there definitely are quite a few resources for veterans that don't exist for all other populations. Our county housing authority does have VASH vouchers. And so if there's any particular veteran that you're concerned about that you feel like the process has moved slow, we'd be happy to know about, because there really are some extra resources and a number of other teams, other agencies that the HOPE team works with. Housing Authority, of course, Riverside County Veteran Services, our nonprofit partners. So I think that there's good things in place for veterans. And so if there's any concern, we'd be happy to follow up with you offline.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I know we've got a couple people at the American Legion here in town that are very adept at navigating the system. And then, of course, we have Congressman Ruiz's office, right, 2 offices down from my office. So it's good to have people like that in our building and be able to use them as resources. But I will connect with you offline, Thomas. Thank you so much.
Sure, happy to help.
Anybody else have any comments or questions? Well, on behalf of all of us who had the benefit of listening to this amazing presentation, Larissa, Marcus, all of behavioral health, we're just truly so blessed to have such a rock star behavioral health department in this county. You guys are heads and tails above many others. And I'm not just saying that because we're all one big family, because I've seen others as well. So thank you for your leadership and everything that you guys do. It's greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Karen.
Okay, did we ever reach quorum, Gershom?
Yeah, I wanted to notify you that we have reached quorum now.
Okay, so can you take us back to agenda item 2 so that we can take care of the minutes? At this time, I would like to entertain a motion to approve the March 20th Continuum of Care minutes. And do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved. This is Linda.
Thank you, Linda. Do I have a second?
I'll second. This is Kim Askew, Labor of Love.
Thank you, Kim. Do I have any objections or abstentions?
This is Angelina. Could I abstain?
Okay, Angelina, 1 abstention. Thank you, Angelina. Nice to have you, darling.
Same, thank you.
Okay, hearing none others, the item passes. We can go ahead and move on to the next item, which is our lovely Monique. And Monique, I'm not sure if you planned, where are you, my dear? I can't see you.
I'm here.
Okay, so under my item under Board of Governance, I was going to mention how we're proposing for the youth seats, but I'm going to defer that to you. So if you don't mind, when you give your update on the YHDP Coordinated Community Plan after that, I'd love for you to have the floor about the exciting things that we discussed at the last Board of Governance regarding the 2 youth seats, because I think you'll do a great job articulating why it's important.
Madam Chair.
Okay.
Yes.
This is Emma. I did want to mention that we received some feedback from our county council, Paula, about that motion. So I need to I need to meet with you offline about it, but basically I think we need to bring the item back to the COC and do a charter amendment prior to being able to add the seat. So just wanted
Okay,
to mention that.
For the Board of Governance?
Yes.
Yes, and no problem. Is it okay if we hear about it, or do you want to defer that till later, Emma?
I mean, we can talk about what we want to do, but we will need to readdress the decision because I think it needs to come to the board, to the COC first as an amendment to our charter before we can officially add the seats.
That sounds good. Well, this is a good time to talk about it. So, Monique, if you want to talk about the community plan for YHDP and then mention, I know for me as the chair of the Continuum of Care, I've wanted to have a youth seat on the Board of Governance. And so I'm just excited to see, how all of this can tie together for this exciting plan that we have. So Monique, the floor is yours, my dear.
Thank you so much, and thank you for that. I was going to say we do need to make an amendment to the charter, and so we will table that item. But just to give some more information, as we get closer to the CCP submission, we want to thank our partners, our YAB. I want to uplift that there are a lot of YAB members on the COC meeting, so big claps. Thank you all, YAB, for being on the meeting, but also supporting and leading our coordinated community plan to end youth homelessness, right, using Youth Homelessness Administration Project funds. And so we're close to submitting. The community alongside YAB has decided what activities, right, folks are going to fund items based on the need that we have in the community. And so Salam, thank you so much for working with our data working group and our partners to identify what the needs in our county are based on data, but also the qualitative analysis that we get from our Youth Action Board and other youth in the community. So where we're at is really funding, right, joint rapid rehousing projects, rapid rehousing, a youth navigator, some of the navigation centers that are a huge need for our YAB. And so we couldn't have identified those without the amazing YAB members that did a lot of work in every single working group to make sure that our coordinated community plan came together, from the visuals to the format to the content. They created the vision and mission statement during an in-person meeting that we had back in February for YHDP. And so thank you all who have participated in various groups and stages of this plan. So we will be close to submitting, and we will let you all know. Yay, we did it once it does get submitted. And thank you for honoring the activities and just being a part of all of the working groups. Two of the seats that we did want to bring up to the Board of Governance that was brought up last meeting is possibly for one of the Youth Action Board members or a youth that is interested in pretty much being the voice of youth experiencing housing instability and wanting to create that change by allowing youth to have the power to also vote on items specific to YHDP. We received a lot of support. Shout out to Councilmember Aaron Edwards, who was really supportive of not just the YAB voting on YHDP items, but all Board of Governance items. And so as we've learned from myself previously holding that seat, we definitely want our youth members to build a relationship with our Board of Governance, and so have kind of a mentorship going on where youth are learning also about local policy, how the Board of Governance meetings operate, and they'll have our COC staff support as well to prepare for those meetings, make sure they can get out to the in-person ones, and that they are understanding the agenda items, but also putting together right thoughts and perspectives that they want to bring to the meeting. So we definitely are excited to move forward with that, and hopefully see some of our YAB members grow into those positions, and hopefully you all will get to meet them and build relationships with them as well. So thank you all for your support thus far. Any questions? Alrighty, thank you, folks.
No questions or comments? Monique, thank you for the amazing work that you and the team have been doing to advance this plan. We're super excited. And there's going to be some opportunities for community members to apply for funds, right? And to be able to get involved in helping more of our youth across the county. So super excited about seeing what kind of partnerships are going to develop to support that plan. So thank you again. Okay, let's see. Okay, so Monique covered the one thing that was mentioned at the Board of Governance, and that is adding those 2 seats. Something else that I wanted to mention that Tanya did a really great presentation, which hopefully we can bring forward to the continuum of care. It's something that I've been passionate about, and I know we have other shelters across the county and cities that have been involved in this, and that is working together to try to be ready for emergencies and disasters. And so at the last Board of Governance meeting, Tanya had showed all of us a slide that outlined the different shelters across the county that actually activate during inclement weather and during emergencies. So cooling and warm shelters, bed expansions for bad weather and disaster response. And so I just wanted to mention some of them that were on the slide. And again, I'd love for you all to see this because I hope we can further advance this with as many resources as possible so that if we have an emergency, some kind of a disaster literally across the county, we can flip the switch to expand beds. So I wanted to give a shout out to CVRM that does that, the Coachella Valley Rescue Mission, Palm Springs, MVK, Emergency Inclement Weather, Path of Life, Cold Weather, Salvation Army in partnership with the Path of Life, the Galilee Center, and then City of Corona also does the same thing, and Norco with, we have our Hope Center and then also the motel shelter programs where they are anytime there's cold, hot weather or disaster, you can literally just, if you have a provision in your contract, expand beds. And so it'd be great for us to have a larger discussion at the Continuum of Care to see creative ways that we can do that and talk about resources to fund that. Some of the programs, I don't know if Chris, are you on right now, honey? Chris Obert from the Path of Life.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you mind giving an example just for the benefit of the rest of the group of how great the process is that you guys use when you do the cold weather shelter?
How great the process is?
I mean, how does it happen? How does it
Well,
happen?
it happens easily because we already have kind of the pre-existing relationship. And I think that's the point of this coordinated conversation. We already have this long-standing commitment with the Salvation Army. They have a room that's available. So literally we get a phone call or a text message from Emma or the COC, and they ask us, how quickly can you pop up a shelter? And the beauty of it is the partners on the ground who are available and ready to go. And if we can find a room, we can turn it into a shelter within a couple of hours. So for us, probably like CVRM and all the others, you have an anchor shelter that can provide, supplies, backup supplies, and coordination of the efforts, along with the COC. The COC team has been awesome at showing up immediately and helping us get the work done, ordering food, water, etc. So we really can turn around a space quite quickly, especially with the partnerships already in place. And I think that's the point of your conversation, correct?
Yes. Yes, it's having an infrastructure that's in place so that you can literally flip a switch to address emergency situations, whether it is cold weather, hot weather, or some other kind of a disaster. Pastor Charles, are you on? I know we did some creative things at our Harrison Hope Center in the city of Corona with how we add extra beds. Are you there?
Yes,
Do you want to talk about that? How we do that?
Sure, I'd be happy to talk about that. We have a system set up where we have inclement weather beds that we set up for if there's going to be an event or if there's a natural disaster. We have a hotel overflow if necessary that we can refer to. Normally that is activated. Well, right now it's activated daily still. But normally it's activated with a call from the city. The city lets us know that we've moved into, or whatever organization the city's working with. We work with the notifications as they come out. We convert our day room into a 16-bed area for the overflow. And then, at the end of the day, we I mean, in the morning, we undo it and we begin our regular programming, but that's pretty much how it works. But it also works in junction with a hotel overflow if necessary for emergencies. That's
And the
about
same
it.
thing, yes, thank you, Pastor Charles. And the same thing is true with our, for example, CityNet, which does motel shelter programs in both Corona and Norco. And so if there's some kind of a disaster, they're on call and will be ready for transportation and placement. So those are just some creative ideas for you guys to think about. So we look at ways to expand emergency shelter for disasters or inclement weather across the county. I look forward to having more discussions about it. If people want creative ideas about how you staff that, how you fund that, I hope we can advance that discussion. Are there any questions or comments? That is what we discussed at the Board of Governance. And like I said, I'm looking forward to advancing that conversation in future Continuum of Care meetings. Anybody else like to comment?
I think the last part I forgot about that, Ms. Karen, is we provide transportation. We have a transportation system in place that is capable of transporting them from wherever we need to transport them through a couple shuttles as well as Lyft.
Thank you, Pastor Charles. Okay, we're going to go ahead now and move on to the, let's see, agenda item 6.3, which is the coordinated entry system lead update. And we have Lucy. Are you ready, Lucy?
Yes, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good afternoon. I've met a few of you before, but I am the social service planner for the CES lead agency, RUHS Behavioral Health Hope. And I will be providing the CES lead update today. Next slide, Gershon, please. So our overview for today, it will include meeting or re-meeting our CES administrative team and introducing our newest member. The CES lead update for the month of March, which will include data trends and areas of improvement as seen within the CES. And we will also be going over some announcements and updates. The next slide. So many of you, if not all, have met our administrative team. We have our administrative services manager, Monique Rodriguez Torres. And we would also like to kindly introduce our newest addition to the CS family, Kevin George. Kevin, if you can kindly unmute and tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I think I kind of jumped the gun earlier. I just didn't want to be the one who didn't speak. So, but yeah, I'll reintroduce myself. So yeah, my name is Kevin George. So I've been with the department, so with the County of Riverside for the last 4 years. Prior to coming to RUHS, I worked as a social worker in our investigative services unit. In our CSI unit, which is court services, and also in our group home unit. And then lastly, I worked as a supervisor facilitating CFTMs for the department for our youth that were in STRTP placement and also foster care placement. Fairly new to administrative services. So this is my 3rd week here, and so I'm looking forward to continuing these meetings and meeting with everyone on a monthly basis and learning this whole new process. So it's a pleasure to be here and happy to see all you as well.
Thank you, Kevin. So many of you are also very familiar with our administrative service assistant, John Horn, aka our Pandora of Knowledge. And myself, again, Lucy Bustos, the social service planner for RUHS Behavioral Health Hope. We also do have our lifeline, which is our office assistant 3s, Emily Romero and Julian Guerrero, and we are currently working on hiring an office assistant 2. So these are some of the statistics and trends that came through the month of March. We had a little over 1,500 phone calls made into the Home Connect, which is less than the 2,189 calls received the month prior in February. There are currently 210 open home connections, and with the work of all of us throughout the county, 73 consumers were housed last month alone. We do also notice a trend in the numbers of those in the community queue. The cities with the highest numbers of those in the queue include Riverside, Indio, and Palm Springs. Based on the home connection call requests, the highest percentage of type of calls received are those seeking resources at 55% of calls. 6% of the calls made in last month were identified to be literally homeless and 1% being at imminent risk. Next slide. So CES is working on developing training for, but not limited to, ensuring that navigators are closing consumers out of their respected programs after the respected allotted time that has passed per agency, and also ensuring that they are closed out of the coordinated entry system and removed from the community queue. We're also looking to train agencies on ensuring that they are enrolling consumers to external agency programs or referring, as all referrals should go through the coordinated entry system. This is to ensure data quality. We have noticed that external agencies are enrolling and referring to other external agencies, which is creating some data quality errors. And in delay of services, our CES team would also like to encourage shelter staff to have consumers connect to case management staff to be screened for vulnerabilities, such as the VI SPDAT in-house, or connect them immediately upon entering the shelter to Home Connect. For our streamlining, CES has worked collaboratively with Housing Authority to streamline our PBV home connection process by integrating the PBV documents needed by Housing Authority, as well as the project department applications, which are only for those units, into the initial home connection opportunity notification. And this will allow Housing Authority to review those applications and send referrals to our PBV projects in a more timely manner, and in conclusion will lead to a quicker lease up. Next slide. And as some of you may know, we have restructured our CES partnership meeting and hold a case conferencing meeting once a month. So we've developed this case conferencing form for case managers to complete and return to our Home Connect. These will be featured at the once a month meeting with all private patient information hidden. And in order to work interprofessionally with the other agencies that are on the call to help remove those barriers and support in housing those that are hard to house. Next slide. So we are looking for presenters at our second once a month meeting. If your agency would like to present your services or know of any agencies and our resources for our homeless services, we would like to hear from you. Next slide. So we would like to hear from you all. What would the council and community members like to see in our CS lead update? Feel free to unmute, write suggestions in the chat, or you can always email us at thehomeconnect@ruhealth.org email.
So I have to know, where did you guys get that slide? I absolutely love it. That is really a cool slide. Isn't that true? Doesn't everybody feel like that's why we do this work, right?
Yes.
If we were to try to bottle up all the passion represented in the continuum of care, imagine. That's really awesome. Thank you, Luce. Does anybody have any questions? Any comments? Monique, any words of wisdom? How are you doing there with your team? Come on, let's hear from you.
There we are. We are doing amazing. I'm super happy to have some more help with Kevin George coming online, and you know, the team really, they work hard. They're doing great things. Everybody, all of you out there are doing great things, and the closer we work together, the better we'll be. So really excited for our future.
Well, thank you for your leadership and for all the great things that you guys do. And Lucy, thank you again for the update. I might have to ask you for that slide and steal it from you. That's a really super cool slide.
We can thank John and Monique for that one.
Is that right?
We got you, Karen. Don't worry.
Okay, thank you, John. Nice to see you, by the way. Okay, are there any questions, comments? Okay, let's see. We already handled Greg's update. You'll see under agenda item 7 for the committee reports that are always available in the Google Drive. And then I was super excited. Carol Alba, are you on with us? I don't see Carol. But yesterday, myself and Vice Chair Michelle Davis was pretty exciting for us to sign a letter of support for Faith in Action. Their goal is to develop like a one-stop resource center in that area of the county. And so they're going to be looking to identify resources and partners and sites. So we're always, if you ever need a letter of support for a grant, please, we love to sign them and to support you. We always want to get behind building partnerships, bringing more resources into the continuum of care. So I hope you will never be shy. And the HWS staff works with us to make sure we can turn those around pretty quickly for you, because we know you guys are usually facing pretty short deadlines for grants. So, and then you will see there's also in the agenda item 7.3 informational items, there's PSH, what is that? CORPSH annual performance report for your viewing if you would like. Other than that, we can now, are there any calls for agenda items? We can go to the next slide. Does anybody have any special requests for the next or future Continuum of Care meetings? Do not be shy. You have something you want to hear about? You have something you want to present about? Anybody? Okay. Well, you can always email us at coc@rivco.org. Does anybody have any exciting announcements? Now, I hope you all are not going to be shy. I might have to call on you by name. Come on, you guys, don't be shy. Who out there has some exciting update? Let's hear it from anybody. You guys are too quiet. All right, everybody's busy. They need to get on to the next thing, which is fine. Look at it's 4:08, you guys. We have had an exception. Oh, Ernesto.
It's nothing big, but you know, we're a small org helping you know, mainly people that coming out of prison. Well, we help them when they're in prison. But one of the things that we had a hiccup on was getting the fire marshal out here in our office to get that on the application for the DHCS, and we finally got a call back. So that's some good news for us. It's a small scale, it's a small news, but it's good news for us. So we're gonna get that next week. So that's good.
Congratulations. Yeah, that's something to celebrate every step along the way. Marcus, let's hear it. What exciting announcement do you have?
I missed the last meeting, so I apologize if someone from our team already shared this, but I'll continue to share it because it's a really important series of events to us. Every May, we recognize what we call May is Mental Health Month, a national awareness campaign around mental health. And so our department holds 3 large events throughout the month of May, one in Indio, one in San Jacinto, and one in the city of Riverside. And so I will forward along the flyers in English and Spanish, as well as an exhibitor flyer if organizations want to be exhibitors, to the COC staff, and I'd be grateful if they could send it out to everyone. For those of you who've attended before, you'll know it's really a great event. We get over 1,000 people that come. Quite a few agencies come and bring both their clients as well as information about their services. And there's food and games and activities for all ages from 2 to 99, and a dunk tank and all sorts of other fun in between. So we'd love to see you and love to see your consumers and your customers at one of those events. So thanks so much for letting me make the announcement.
So are you going to sit for the dunk tank, Marcus? I just want to know.
It happened last year. I will try to avoid it happening this year, but one never knows.
You actually, did you end up in the water?
There was a long line, Karen. I'm not sure if they were trying to throw the ball at the target or at me, but I ended up in the water quite a few times.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. Okay, Wayne, let's hear it.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? I missed my opportunity to jump in when you made the call for agenda items for next meeting. So I wanted to circle back and see if I could jump in on that. We are very excited to have the opportunity to subcontract with a provider in the Palm Springs, Desert Hot Springs area to provide street medicine and wraparound services. And they are new to providing this type of service in Riverside County. They have done some other services, and I was wondering if there would be a possibility that they could introduce themselves to the broader COC community next meeting.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. They are called Wellness Equity Alliance, and then I'll make sure that they're on this call right now. And then what I'll do is I'll sort of make sure that they're prepared for a couple minutes so that they can, let you all know of the good work that they're doing and who they are and what they're about. And we're really happy to bring, sort of have the opportunity to work with them as a strategic partner. So I think they add a lot of value to our network of services.
Thank you, Wayne. Was there anything that you wanted to share also as part of that with the work that you're doing?
Absolutely. So I will tell you that they've launched. So April 15 was their launch. And so that's an exciting announcement in and of itself. April 15th is tax day. It's like a day, but it's awesome because we're actually boots on the ground. There's the subcontractors in place. They have a facility. They have an APP. They have, advanced practitioner. They have street outreach workers, they have a vehicle, and so they're getting all their training right now, and they're getting all their docs on board. They have their contract with IEHP. So they've really pushed it forward, and we're super excited. They're actually starting to see patients. So that's awesome.
Well, why don't you email us? You know how to get a hold of me.
Of course.
And you can suggest the title and the names, and we'll figure out a place to get you guys on agenda. I'd love to have you. That'd be wonderful.
Sounds good.
And I'll collaborate with the county team to make sure that happens. Thank you.
Thank
I
you
love
so
it.
much.
Don't anybody else? Okay, so before we close the meeting, I just want to remind you all that you see the outline of future meetings that are always listed on the agendas. We want you to feel supported and excited and enthused about continuing to work together to make a difference. I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart and on behalf of the whole county team that is here to support you. Thank you for the work that you're doing to transform lives. And sometimes the work is really super hard, but I think at the end of the day, when you look at the outcomes of people's lives that are being transformed, it makes it all worth it. So thank you guys so much for everything that you do. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and we will see you at the next meeting. Take care.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
All right, family, y'all be